My mother-in-law kicked my girlfriend and me out of her house, saying we would never amount to anything in life, and now that I'm rich, she demands that I give her our house and support her for the rest of her life. I lost my parents at a very young age, around 15 years old. It was a very difficult time in my life, mainly because I didn't have any other close relatives to help me, which led me to live on the streets. After a while, I was accepted into a government program that provided housing, half a minimum wage, and food until I turned 18. This was very beneficial for me as it gave me the opportunity to finish high school and at least find a job. However, when I turned 18, unfortunately, I was removed from the program, and to my misfortune, no job would accept me because I didn't have a home. I didn't plan for this, and honestly, it was the worst moment of my life. I felt like I had no options and that it was only a matter of time before my determination ran out, but finally, I got a job at a local diner, earning much less than the other employees, but I was happy. And it was there that I met my current girlfriend, who was a regular customer at the diner. We would talk for hours when she came in, and we started to get to know each other, eventually dating, and 6 months later, I moved in with her. My mother-in-law never liked this, and I understand, given my situation, it would be almost impossible to change my life, but I tried. I paid her rent, bills, food, and saved the rest for us to have our own home in the future, and yet, every day I was judged, and every day I had to hear that I was nobody in life, leading to many arguments between her and my girlfriend. Until finally, one day we came home from a date and her mother simply wouldn't let us in. We asked to at least come in to get our clothes, but she just laughed and said she had already sold them all, and that she had taken the money we had saved too, and that she would no longer support two people who would never improve their lives. It was a very difficult time, but we stayed together. I asked my boss for an advance on my salary, and I managed to rent a small room near work. My girlfriend also started working, and little by little, we rebuilt our lives. Eventually, we decided to take out a loan and start a diner, which we would work at after our main jobs. Eventually, this diner turned into a restaurant. Over the years, this restaurant became several restaurants. We left our main jobs and started focusing only on our restaurants, and it became our company. It took many years for all of this to happen, but nowadays I can say that I am at the peak of my life. I married my girlfriend, we had 2 children, and simply put, for the first time in my life, I know I don't need to worry about money, and my children won't need to either. However, the problem started when we gave an interview to the newspaper in my city, talking about our entire journey. This interview became famous and went to neighboring cities, including where my mother-in-law lives. After about 3 days, she showed up at our door. Note that this was a big surprise, as we hadn't had any contact with her all these years. My wife didn't want to talk to her, so I didn't let her in and asked what she wanted. She just said she wanted to see her grandchildren and talk to us about other things. I laughed and said she didn't have grandchildren because my wife no longer considered her part of the family. She just huffed and said she didn't care about that anyway, and that she only hoped we would deposit the money into her account soon and transfer the house to her name. I asked what she was talking about, and she looked at me angrily and said, of course, she expected us to give her at least $10,000 monthly and the house we lived in because it was the least we could do after she gave us a place to live. I told her I had paid her rent and bills for years, and that was more than she even deserved, and she wouldn't see a penny more of my money ever again. She started screaming and saying we were ungrateful and that she would sue us, and I just laughed and closed the door. But to my surprise, she actually sued us, claiming she deserves compensation of over $1 million for the time we lived in her house. Honestly, I don't even know if there's a possibility of her winning this lawsuit, but we'll see tomorrow. I can't believe she came looking for us after so many years just for this, and I guarantee, I'll do everything to ensure she doesn't receive a single cent of my money. You can now check if there's a part 2 by pressing share and more.